Hey guys, in today's video, we're checking out probably the heaviest guitar amp plugin that I've ever used. We're checking out the 1111 by OTTOAUDIO. This thing sounds massive. It has a really cool feature that gives you a wide stereo spread, so it sounds like two tracked guitars, which is incredibly useful. I'm basically going to show you just how the amp works, do a couple of playthroughs through a few songs, talk about, dialing in tone and kind of my philosophy on it, which is a little different than most people. But we're going to listen to it and see if this is something that's right for you. If you're into metal or hard rock, I think this plugin is going to be amazing for you for sure. I do want to thank Auto Music for sponsoring this video. It is a sponsored video, however, the opinions are still my own, and if I didn't like this plugin, I wouldn't feature it on my channel. Also, you can get 50% off of purchasing this product by using the link down below and then using promo code SCOTT50OFF, and all the details will be down in the description. So 50% off if you use the code SCOTT50OFF at checkout. Also, you can try this thing out for yourself with the 14-day free trial. The link will be down in the description. So you can try this out for yourself and hear how it sounds. 14 days for free. Definitely worth it. This amp sounds great and you can hear it for yourself. So before we get started, I post videos like this all the time. Stuff about music, tech, in-ear monitors, gear reviews, finding cheap stuff for musicians on Amazon, kind of just a music tech channel in general. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell to be notified when I put out new videos. And hitting the thumbs up button is a free way to support the channel. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at ScottYuleMusic. I'm wearing my black t-shirt because we're going to play some metal. Let's check out this plugin. So here we go. So in Logic, it just loads up like any other plugin. And I do recommend doing mono to stereo, and I'm going to show you why here in a minute. It looks pretty obvious. You have your preamp, bass, mids, trebs, master, presence, and depth all in the front. I'm just going to play just the beginning one, or at least the one that I like the most. Ooh, that's hot. Hang on. So I'm going to show you just the thing that's the best of this, in my opinion. I'm just going to get this out of the way right off the bat. This is the coolest part. So right now it's in mono. And you should be listening on headphones or speakers or anything that has panning in order to hear this. If you're listening on like an iPhone, you're not going to hear this. But you set it to this mono stereo, and it makes it sound like there's two guitars with hard left and hard right. Panning with a slight delay, I believe. It just makes it sound so much bigger with a single track. So again, mono, stereo. Try to screw that riff up, but whatever. That's so cool. That literally sounds like a double-tracked guitar. That is the coolest feature in this amp. I love that. I'm surprised that more plugins don't do that. And that's the reason why I have you do this mono to stereo. If you just do mono, you don't get that option. All right, so on the front, you have your input and your output. Whoa, way too much. Just watch your levels, I'm pretty okay. So that's one of the first things you want to set. But then you have, gain levels. So basically no gain. And of course they do all go up to 11. Of course you have bass, mid, trub. You always have that in your master control. Your presence and your depth, so after, the EQ, do you want a little bit more brightness and do you want a little bit more depth? You can set that here. Those are pretty obvious. I don't think I really have to go into those too much more detail. All right, but down here, this is where you get your presets. So the first thing I'd recommend do is just kind of go through some of these different presets. I'm in drop D. This is probably meant more for drop, R flat tunings or whatever. I don't even know what I dropped that to, but the super genty type of stuff. But you can scroll through them, so. Some of these outputs are really, really hot. It's kind of a cool gent type of tone. You might be able to hear that noise. Like that. There is a gate to get rid of that, and now it's nice and quiet, so that is really cool. You click anywhere to get to the back of the amp, but I'll get to the back of the amp in a minute. But just kind of scrolling through the presets. That's the type of tone I don't like. Yeah, definitely something like that. But I mean, you know, it's whatever works for you. What you can do if you find one that you like. So I kind of like the tone of this one. I'm going to turn the gate up a little bit more. So I kind of like the tone of that one. So what you can do is you can save it. So you can click down here, current preset, save into bank, save it into one of these. So I'm just going to save it into auto 1. I'm going to call it nice 11. I don't know. And then hit OK. And it'll save it for you. And next time you go into here, you see nice 11 is in here. So here's one that I liked that I saved. That's kind of the type of tone that I'm going for personally with my hard rock and heavy metals. So that's what I'm going to stick with. All right, the next thing that you have is you can click right here, and this is where you get different cabinets. This is where a lot of your tone shaping comes in when you're using modelers and plugins. I mean, just listen to the changes. You have 22 different cabinets. Listen to how different these sound. So you can either click here and choose an individual one, or you also can scroll by just clicking this arrow right here. So now I'm on cabinet 13. 14, 15, so on and so forth. Also on the back, if you click, you can scroll through them here. I'm actually going to scroll through it that way just because I think it's a little bit easier to see. So 11 is the one that I like. But let me just scroll through some of these other ones. That's already a huge difference with that cab. Nothing else has changed, just the cabinet. Too much low in that one for sure. That's the tone I don't like. I don't like that tone. One's actually pretty nice. But I mean, you can hear how much of a difference you get with all of the cabinets. So scrolling through the cabinets is a really important way to dial in your tone for sure. Okay, so next we have this right here. I didn't know what this was, and doing some research, I went to the OTTOAUDIO website, and they have like a demo on their YouTube channel, and this is what they said. The guy who made this said, "I don't call this anything particular, but it's the foundation of your tone." So the best way to just figure this out is just kind of scroll through them, and I'm going to scroll through them with the mouse or with my keyboard. That one sounds pretty cool. I like that one. Too much low. I like the tone. This is what I think what I was on. I like the tone of that one. So it definitely helps shape the tone for sure. It's not as much as the cabinets, but it helps shape the tone, just kind of like what they say. Here you have your impedance curve right here. So, I mean, you have to listen to it. Usually the lower it is, the more scooped it is, and the higher up it goes, the more mids you get. So big volume difference there. That one sounds pretty nice. I think normally where I like it is kind of... I like the tone of that one. I think that one sounds great, so I'm going to leave it on impedance 8. Again, just another way to shape your tone, and you can scroll through it again with these buttons as well. Also, if you want to just turn this off, turning off this punch button turns off completely. So it doesn't change it at all. So I'm going to put this back on 8. That's the one that I liked. So that's basically it on the front. There is this power amp on or off, and I'm going to show you the back here in a second that turns off this section. So now these knobs just don't do anything. And then one more thing, trying to show you the front, but just something that pairs in with the back. This feedback knob right here, if you have it all the way off, these two don't do anything. If you have it all the way up, it does more. So now it's all the way up. Now the presence and depth do change. And then if you turn the feedback off, there's literally no difference that it makes. So that's something that ties in from the back up to the front. The oversampling, this part, I mean, I always say trust your ears with stuff more than definitions. I honestly don't even hear a difference between those. I mean, just trust your ear. If you do hear something with it, to me, it all sounds the same. But that's the front of this. Okay, so just really quick, I do want to mention something when you're dialing in tone, just in general. First of all, just keep in mind, louder is not better. So a lot of times we trick ourselves into hearing something is louder and we think that it's better. So with this, make sure you use the output or input or volume and amplitude, like, you know, different adjustments. Make sure that the tones are at the same level, because a lot of times our ears think, oh, it's louder, therefore it's better. And to me, when you're messing with knobs, you know, I could say, oh, this adds more harmonic distortion. This adds a little more mid-range, or, you know, whatever. Trust your ears with it. To me, what I do is I usually set, if it's a knob that I don't really know what it does, I turn the level all the way down to 0, and then I turn it all the way up to 100. And I listen to what it does at the extreme minimum and the extreme maximum. And then I hear what it does and I dial it in accordingly. The other thing that's really tough is that when you hear something different, you go, oh, that's better as well. So for me, it's all about just hearing it in the mix. That's one of the most valuable ways that you can do this. Your ear does play tricks on you. Like, you can hear 3 bright ones and then hear one that is not as bright, and you go, oh, that's too dark, when in reality, that's what the mix actually wants. Just a few things to keep in mind. All right, back to the plugin. All right, so that's mostly the front, so clicking anywhere will get you to the back. Again, the cabinets are gonna give you a huge difference in tone, so you can scroll through back here, which is kind of an easy way to see what it is. You do have a way to turn it off completely if you want none of them and you want to load your own impulse responses. I will stick with the ones in here personally. You do get a resonance knob for each one, so just listen to what that So again, you know, like I said, I like to go to the extremes and then to the bottom so you can really hear where it sounds. Kind of somewhere in the middle will probably be good with both of those. Again, you do have to hear it in a mix, but that sounds pretty good. Amplitude is an important thing as far as like changing the volume of it or the output. So let me go ahead and just show you bias. So cold bias and hot bias. So when you put it all the way down here, listen to how quiet it is. So you want to correct that by turning the amplitude up. Now, when you bring the amplitude up, I mean, I'm barely hitting it, so I have to really bring that down. Hear the difference in those? So that's a good way to compensate for the volume, because remember, our ears sometimes say louder equals better. So if something turns up too much or turns down too much, correct it here and listen that way. Going over here, this mod switch is super subtle. I barely... I mean, if I had my eyes shut, I wouldn't really hear a difference with that. It's super, super subtle. Again, you do have a gate here, which is super great for getting rid of that sound. Also nice if you're doing like really genty stuff. If, you know, you're doing super chuggy, drop R flat stuff, you know, that'll be good for you. These are just kind of overdrive settings, so punish. I mean, again, use your ear. I can say, you know, we can say overdrive or whatever, but listen to it. Definitely gives it more overdrive, which can be really nice. Plus 10. Pretty subtle. And then the low, gives you just a little bit more low end. mean, you know, mess with them. These are where you're getting into more subtle changes with it. You do have a power tube selection. It models the EL34 and 6L6s and stuff like that. Again, use your ear with this. Even if you're like, oh, I really like 6L6s. This is a modeler, you know, it's mimicking those tones. So, you know, just listen and just use your ear. And again, this last section right here, this is the power amp section. You can turn all this off by just turning off the power amp. Now it literally doesn't do anything. I showed you what bias is. You have cold bias and hot bias, and base that, you know, match that with the amplitude. Again, use your ear with this. And I showed you what feedback does. So when you have that off, these don't do anything. And when you turn them up, they do. So I like having it kind of right here. So sag and snarl, just listen to the difference with these. Let me turn the sag all the way down. And here's how it sounds with it all the way up. So a little bit of a volume change. So let's fix that. So again, tiny, tiny little differences. Snarl's the one I can really, really hear. Definitely a resonance type of thing to my ears. So you know, that type of tone. Definitely too bright, but adding just a little bit in there can be really nice. It's just little tweaks like this will definitely help change it. Again, you really have to hear it in a mix. So I'm going to play some riffs in the mix and see how that sounds. And that's basically the rundown of the amp. Okay, so instead of doing like a full playthrough video of like a song or something, I'm going to do just a couple of different riffs that I have. 2 of these are from my old band, which I had to dig up some old stems that we had, so a trip down memory lane. And then 2 of them are from my original music, which you can check out. There's links up above and down below if you want to check out my original music. One of them is a track that I already released, and I wish that I had this plugin because this sounds way better for the riff that I wrote for this particular piece of music. And the other one is actually the next song that I'm going to release. And actually, you know, the different guitar tones that I was using, I've changed it. I ended up going with this 1111 plugins. So here's just 4 different riffs that I think this amp complemented. So this next one is, it's a little more artsy of a project. There's a dialogue and a story, so it's kind of like a concept album, kind of electronic, orchestral type of stuff. But this song in particular is like an action piece. So it's, you know, it's an action scene. So you'll hear kind of, you know, gunshot sound effects and stuff like that. But I updated what I had been using. I definitely think it's more of the tone I was going for. So I've actually updated it to use the 1111 amp instead of what I had. So that's basically it. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about it. I think it's a phenomenal sounding amp. I've actually bought it. Anything metal or rock, I'll definitely be using this plugin for. Again, be sure to use code SCOTT50OFF in order to get 50% off your purchase. Details of how to purchase will be down in the description. And again, use that code to get 50% off. Also, don't forget, you can get this amp for 14 days for free with the 14-day free trial. Again, links will be down in the description down below so you can check it out yourself. I highly recommend you do that and you play through it so you can hear it yourself. It's definitely worth it. I'm supposed to be hired to play with a metal band, and we're supposed to do a Europe tour this December. It was scheduled December 2020. It got rescheduled to December 2021, and now it's getting rescheduled to December 2022. I really hope that this is the time that happens. We'll see. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram at ScottUWillMusic, where I'll be posting the tour dates. Hopefully win, please. I'm tempted about bringing this as my rig for that. I think we might have a backline. Last time we had a backline, but you know, if we do have to provide our amps and stuff like that, I very likely will bring this as a standalone plugin and go out of like an interface in order to use this live, because it's just such a great metal tone. All right, and here we go. Who's gonna win the wireless? Congratulations, Davila DVP. You won the wireless Brian Fay guitar system. I'll reach out to you in the comments. Just in case if you don't get a hold of me, here's the runner-up, this guy. So just in case that other guy doesn't hit me up within a week, I'll be giving it to you. Thanks guys for entering the contest. So that's basically it. Thank you guys again for watching. If you found this content helpful, hitting the thumbs up button is a free way to support the channel. Thank you again to OTTOAUDIO. Such a great plugin. I just love it overall. So thank you for sending that. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos by clicking the links on the screen now. Again, don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at ScottUWillMusic on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Instagram's my favorite out of those. If we do end up booking that Europe tour, I will be posting the dates on there, so be sure to check that out. Again, check out some of the videos that are on your screen now or some of the playlists that I have. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.